no way, ain't no how. I'ma let somebody come and shut me down. Hold my own, I'ma stand my ground. I'ma rep my city and salute my town. Said ain't no way, ain't no how. I'ma let somebody come and shut me down. I'ma hold my own, I'ma stand my ground. And I'm ready for whatever, and I still stand proud. Ain't no way. Who you think you kidding, dude? Never thought that I would do.
What up, though? It is your boy Mike D, host of Wrestling from the 313. We are back with another Tuesday episode. We are streaming live right now on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. So if you're on any of those platforms, make sure you check us out. Make sure you leave a like, a comment, share it with your peoples, and just show love to this episode today. Of course, as always, this episode is brought to you by WSN. Make sure you download the app on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire Stick. Tons of wrestling content. We got content from cartoons, documentaries, wrestling movies, wrestling promotions in the indies. We got some of their shows. Also, check out their website, thewrestlingsociety.com. Get a lot of cool content there. Sign up for a free account. Go to the podcast room. Yours truly is on the website, so you go there and check them out. Check out Wrestling from 313 there, and all the other cool wrestling podcasts that are out here. And also check out WSN now has a Patreon page. They have episodes and shows that are exclusive for Patreon. So if you have a Patreon page, make sure you check out WSN and subscribe. I think the fee is only $1 to subscribe. I could be wrong, but I know it's not a lot. But yeah, definitely check them out, show them some love. And of course, got to go to wrestlingfromthe313.shop. Get you a t-shirt, get you a hoodie. It's about to get cold, so you want to stay warm and you know, don't want to freeze while we going into the fall. So today, I got the Pro Wrestling Wire family on the show. Courtney Wood has been on the show before. This is her second time. And joining us today is Rick Del Santo. He is the head writer of Pro Wrestling Wire. Guys, thank you for joining the show. Courtney, welcome back. How you guys doing?
I'm awesome.
Doing pretty good.
It's been a great day, so you know I'm here, and I love podcasting, so I'm glad to be here.
Definitely. So we're gonna start with you, Rick.
Sure.
So for those that might not know you, can you share a little bit about your background and how you got into the wrestling media?
That's a weird one. Honestly, I just started I have a career in radio for many years, and then I kind of got out of it for a while, and got married and had kids and stuff like that. And then one day I was trying to get back into radio and then kind of get back in. So I just radio is kind of a hard job to get back into. But so I decided I was going to be podcasting, whatever. And I had pro wrestling was not on my mind whatsoever. Thinking about podcasting whatsoever. It was mostly I did a lot of music related program radio and stuff like that, news radio. And then one day it was a chance meeting, running into former WWE superstar Paul Roma at a gas station on my way to work one morning.
Oh,
and he runs a wrestling school down here in Connecticut along with Mario Mancini. And I went down there and I enjoyed the show. They run shows as part of their school, Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling, and he invited me down. So I went down, I watched it. I ran into a lot of people I knew from the wrestling industry, local area, for many years. And I hadn't watched wrestling for about 5 years at that time period. And this was 2018. After I left that show, I decided, I know what I'm doing. I'm starting a wrestling podcast. So it wasn't until probably 5 years later that I actually started writing for a website. I ran a blog, Pro Wrestle Zone, which was also part of the podcast that I did. And I wrote a blog. And then And then eventually, I made connections throughout throughout all of New England with podcasting and writing and stuff like that. And then I had a chance in 2023 merged with I forgot what the hell the name of it was, but it was Pro Wrestling Wire. Basically, came together in 2023 with me and another media person merging. And then after like 4 months, he just stepped out, and I took over the whole site for the last I guess almost 2 years.
Okay, sweet. So, Courtney, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. I'm so glad to be back. And it's so nice to be able to talk to Rick in person.
I know, right?
Talk to him directly. This is so cool.
Sweet. So, the last time you were on the show, we talked a lot about your work at Pro Wrestling Wire. So what have you been up to since then, and what's changed?
Pretty much more of the same. I told you that they were crazy enough to let me, have some free reign. Well, that's the guy that did it. So I've been able to cover my favorite brand, which is NXT. I get to cover the local companies that I go to. So it's been really cool.
That's what's up. So bounce back to Rick. Rick, what led you to become a head writer at the Pro Wrestling Wire?
Basically, when I took it over, when the other guy stepped out, because it was just me. It was me, him, and then I don't know. He just kind of said that he would basically head on to stay together, and basically he would leave. He wanted to leave. He wanted to get rid of the site. He had really wanted to walk away from wrestling altogether. So, but he would help me out with any kind of like, I guess, IT type stuff if I needed it and stuff. And then one day he was just up and missing. So, which is just, I said, okay, the site went down. I couldn't get it back up. So I said, I have no idea what to do. It's me. And we only had like 3 writers at the time. It was me, this guy, Otis, him, and then, whoever would like contribute. And so I really didn't know what to do. So I guess 4 days later, that went switched from ProWrestlingWire.com to ProWrestlingWire.net because I couldn't get the domain because I didn't have the proper information because that dude just kind of went MIA. And we had it was kind of a slow start, and then we had like this really strong boom period for a while because we ended up having people from kind of some other pretty well-known sites writing for us at one point, and then it took a lull again, and then I met this lovely young lady here, and then she's been kind of gave her kind of free reign because I mean honestly it's just as long as there's nothing like crazy, I tell everybody basically it's like nothing homophobic, racial or any of that, no politics involved in your writing. I'll let you do whatever the hell you want, and nothing crazy. I don't want to hear anything crazy or else you're out the door. And it's unfortunate, but I've had to do that a few times, but and Courtney here does a pretty awesome job. So, and so I wouldn't really credit myself for being the head writer, as she does the majority of the writing these days. So I've kind of gotten lazy over the last couple months, but I've been trying to get kick myself back into gear, really.
Sweet, that's what's up. So, Courtney, what's been the biggest wrestling story or trend you've covered recently that has grabbed your attention?
The return of AJ Lee.
Yeah.
That's been so amazing.
So what do you think about it so far? I know she hasn't gotten in the ring or anything, but as far as like the promos and how they've been using her so far, what's your thoughts on it?
I think they've done everything right. I think it's, from a female's perspective, it's pretty cool to see CM Punk and Seth Rollins supporting their women. Seeing CM Punk come out with the AJ Lee shirt, just smiling, it's just really cool to see that.
That's the one thing I could say about CM Punk. He looks real happy. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, I'm not a wrestler, so I don't know, what it would be like to, work with my wife or anything. But you could definitely tell that he's very, very happy to finally be able to work with her again. I know that they worked in the past, over a decade ago and stuff. Mm-hmm. But I would definitely say that AJ, her return has been good so far. A lot of, no bad promos. They haven't put her in situations where it's just like, oh, come on. They've been doing a real good job with her so far. And Seth and Becky have been killing it too. And I think the story has been good so far.
They are so funny. Becky and Seth are so funny.
Yeah. The part when AJ has slapped Seth and he like, yeah, I won't hit a woman, but I know somebody who will. And he like, yeah, come on, babe, come on. And she like, nah, I ain't doing that. But I like that it was part of their plan or whatever. Because when I seen her go out, I'm like, yeah, she gonna attack her from behind or whatever. But
Yeah.
it was real good promo. Would definitely have to say. Rick, do you have any thoughts on the AJ Lee return?
No, it was kind of fun to watch. I kind of, like I said, I off air, I said I had been really watching a lot of wrestling since SummerSlam, and it kind of sat down. Well, I mean, that's not true because I do a weekly NWA podcast, so I'm forced to watch that each and every week. But I hadn't watched any WWE since SummerSlam, so I actually sat down Thursday or Friday. I'm sorry, it's on Fridays these days. And actually said, let me see if this actually happens, and it was like, they did it. I was like, they really pulled it off. So I was like, it was kind of fun, to watch, and the crowd was going crazy, and I think Beth, Jesus Christ, I can't talk. Seth and Becky, thank you, I got it out finally. Seth and Becky actually do, they're a great team, I think, together. And I think Seth, I've always said that was like a really good hand. He's one of those guys that'll just do anything you ask him, as like a complete professional, and I haven't always been the biggest Becky fan because I don't know, just not a fan of hers really that much, but I guess that they were kind of working well together.
Yeah, definitely. And I kind of feel you on Becky Lynch because it's like I have my moments. Like I like when she was in NXT when she was with the Four Horsewomen and just kind of coming up and trying to get her name out there. But it was like at that time she was in the shadow. I wouldn't say in the shadow, but more eyes were on Sasha, Charlotte, and Bayley. And then when she finally got called up and when she finally found her niche as the man, I think that's what really like took her career took off. But just like lately for me, I don't know. I think I kind of like that, like kind of fell back on her a little bit. But since she's been doing this heel run, going up against Lyra Valkyria, and then she had the short rivalry with Nikki Bella. I think my favorite part right now with Becky Lynch was when she had the Nikki Bella promo, and she was saying that her and her husband, they the hottest couple in wrestling, and then she looked at Nikki and was like, "Oh, wasn't that supposed to be you and the whole crowd already knew who they was talking about, and then she was like, "Oh, you can't see him anymore." I think that's what made me start liking Becky again. Like, okay, I got to start watching her. I think she's definitely better as a heel than a babyface.
I mean, her initial babyface run, she was like wildly over. It was freaking crazy. She sold tons and tons of T-shirts, and in WWE land, that's really what matters. Is how much merchandise you sell out there, and in the big leagues.
Definitely. So let me ask you a question, Rick. What does a typical day look like for you when it comes to covering wrestling news and stories?
I'm always on top of things. Like I know I'm supposed to be. I work an office job, and I just kind of have my phone's kind of constantly going off, waiting for stuff to pop up. People sending me stuff, and of course perusing the internet to see anything that might be exciting. You know what I mean? Because I don't want to be like a typical site. Like every site covers the same exact stuff over and over and over. There's like 15 different articles regarding stuff. I just kind of look for something a little bit different. And then first off, I like to put a huge emphasis on the independent wrestling scene because I think it's something that really needs coverage. And I think Courtney will agree with me on that, as we've discussed that. And, so it's like I would like to get more more, people to like send in information throughout the entire country. If you're out there and you see this, you hit me up, because I'd love to be hitting up more stuff. I'd love to be out there promoting events anytime. I try to watch as much independent wrestling television or YouTube streams to see if I can to cover it. If I can sit through a show, then I'll actually cover it. So that's not always the case sometimes while watching wrestling, but and pretty much I try to look for anything that pops up. You know what I mean, in the news that I can turn into an article on our end.
That's what's up. So let's bounce it back to Courtney. So since your last appearance, how do you feel the wrestling industry has shifted, whether in WWE, AEW, or the independents?
Ooh, that's a big question. I think AEW has been going downhill. Like we've seen that. Like it's not even watchable, to be perfectly honest. In my opinion, just my personal opinion.
Yeah.
I don't know, like the John Moxley stuff. It's too much.
Yeah, it's kind of all over the place sometimes. Like it's like with AEW storylines, it seems like you into it, but then it's like it just somehow just scatter all over the place for some reason, and it's like the storylines are not as interesting. You know what I'm saying? It's like I would say WWE and their storylines are not top of the line or not, but they do have must-see TV storylines like the AJ Lee coming back, teaming up with CM Punk. You got the Roman Reigns situation when he was with beefing with the Bronze and Bronson Reed took his shoes. You got the tribal thief, yeah.
Fala. That had me rolling.
Yeah. And then they made a T-shirt with the shoes on the T-shirt and everything. And I would also say the Jey Uso and LA Knight kind of thing that they got going on. So it's like WWE have storylines. They might not be the best, but it's like, okay, let me watch and see what they doing. As like AEW is just kind of like, okay, like sometimes I have the TV on, I'll be watching it, but then it's just like once that uninteresting storyline come on, I'm just kind of just like it just kind of take me off track a little bit.
Yeah.
Go ahead. No, I haven't actually tuned into AEW in like almost 2 years, probably over 2 years by now. I think I watched one of the Forbidden Door last year, maybe. I actually sat through the whole thing and thought, or the most of the show, and thought it was a pretty decent show. The thing with that, and people try to argue this with me, is like the storylines are not there that's keeping you interested, and it's mostly like kind of like a super indie in a way, where it's just like it's all that super stuff, indie stuff, doing all those big gigantic spots all the time. How many guys in there are constantly getting injured? You know what I'm saying? Like going through like stacking up 8 tables and going through them. And it's just like, I know there's more, like some of these guys are capable of more than doing a lot of that kind of stuff, honestly. It's, I hate to put down any kind of wrestling company, but they're, I don't, and going back to what Courtney said about John Moxley, it's like, I'm tired of seeing that guy on my television. It's like, he's got, to me, it's like, go away heat. Like, just, I change the channel every time he is on television. And it's like, I really wanted AEW to succeed. And, when they first started, they, I was like, it's pretty all right. But, they got a couple kinks to work out. And then it got a little better. And then it's just like, people are always arguing that it's like, that it's more athletic based wrestling. Now, it's a lot of it's like really dangerous. You know what I mean? I wouldn't say it's more athletic based. It's like, sure, they're concentrating on wrestling, but they're also, some of these guys are just like killing each other, hurting each other, not necessarily properly trained. And it's just, it's kind of, it sucks to sit there and have to talk bad about a wrestling company when, it's a sport that you absolutely love and you cover all the time. And it's like, I can't sit through it. I couldn't even cover any of the stuff for the website. I had to get other people to do it. And then, so.
Yeah. And that's how I feel too about AEW, because it's like for a long time, it was just all about WWE. You know what I'm saying? They had, WCW went out of business. They bought WCW, they bought ECW, and it was just basically that's all we had for a while. We had TNA, we had Ring of Honor, but it wasn't to the level of like, okay, we gonna compete with WWE. Now that we got AEW, and I think we all three of us would agree, when AEW first started, AEW was hot. You know what I'm saying? Even during COVID, like AEW like still put on good shows. And then it's like even like their ratings were doing like 1 million or close to 1 million. Now they only doing half of that. Like sometimes when they go head to head with NXT, they don't even beat NXT. So I definitely say like their storylines are definitely a problem. I don't know if they got to get some of them guys from some of the old writers from WWE or call up Vince Russo or something, but I think that is when they're gonna like really take that next step, is when they start having good storylines.
I think they need
Rick
a proper.
and I had the same exact face when you said call him Vince Russo. Dude, if Vince Russo is the answer, you know you're in trouble.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean,
right.
I think that they need an experienced wrestling booker, honestly, and somebody that's going to be able to pull that over the masses. You know what I mean? Like they concentrate more on wrestling than they do. Like WWE is very storyline driven, which it's like, but it's like, and it's like so many things in WWE are so over the top, and it's just they're just worried about selling tickets and selling merchandise. WWE really, they don't care about the quality of wrestling, where it's the opposite of AEW. But it's like a lot of the stuff that AEW does, it's like it's not very impressive. It's a lot of it's like pre-choreographed, like flippy dippy stuff, and it's not, to me, a lot of it's not professional wrestling. And some people love that stuff. I'm not a fan of that stuff really, but it's like, in WWE. There's also the thing where they're just raising ticket prices like to astronomical events. The cheap seats are in the hundreds of dollars. Last time, like a family cannot go out to a WWE event anymore. A family of 4 go out to a WWE event. It's a shame, because I used to be able to get the section up from the floor, $60. Me and 3 or 4 of my friends or my family would be able to go and watch. And now it's like, those are like hundreds and hundreds of dollars. And then not to mention, you're going to buy food, you're going to buy merchandise. It's like you got to pay for parking in the arena. It's just the prices are, so that I think is going to drive a certain fan base away from WWE as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. Oh, go
That's
ahead.
why you have to support the indies.
I was just about to say that exact words. That's why you have to. It's never a better time right now to go out and support the indies. $20 buys you a ticket. For $100, you can take your family. Let's go.
Yeah.
The company that I work for down in West Virginia, their tickets are $10, and they always have real food at concession.
Nice.
Yeah, that's
they always have like a dinner special, and they'll have like a baked potato bar or hot ham, grilled cheese. Like it's so much effort and time they're putting into it. But if I had kids and like family, that's where I would go.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you can't beat it.
It's a cheap night out for the family. Yeah.
I would say this, just being a wrestling fan and going to WWE events for the past 10 plus years.
Mm-hmm.
I remember, and I'm from Detroit, so I used to go to Joe Louis Arena and go to the shows there. A floor seat used to be $125. Like, of course, the first 3 to 5, I think the first 3 to 5 rows, like that VIP platinum, it was $500, but it was still to the point where it's not as bad as it is now. Like now, you try to get a floor seat, that's like $800 a piece, and that's ridiculous.
It's all saved for like celebrities and athletes, like famous athletes and stuff like that, actors, people, and of course people on their Netflix shows and stuff like that, because that's what they're trying to push. you know, stuff like that. So it's just outlandish, you know, to do stuff, to charge stuff like that for mediocre wrestling at that.
So how does the guy in the green shirt pay for all of those seats?
I mean, I can give you.
You know what?
I could say something, but it's probably inappropriate for the show.
But you know what? I was thinking something, but you know, OnlyFans page. I don't know.
There's a conspiracy as to, like, you know, how he gets it. Like, I mean, like, I guess he got sued, or he sued somebody, won a ton of money in a lawsuit, and then he just pays for tickets and travels. But he's at like every single event, front and center.
He had his own entrance at WrestleMania.
That's ridiculous.
Oh, wow.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's crazy.
When all the commentators were coming out, he had his own entrance.
Yeah, people said that they thought that he was related to somebody in the company. So
something like that. And Logan Paul on his podcast called him.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so if he know Logan Paul, then Logan Paul probably pulled some strings for him.
It was something. He was interviewing Tiffany Stratton, and they were talking about him, and they were just like, "Oh, we'll just call him." And he was right there on the video chat talking shit to Logan Paul. It was really funny.
That's what's up. We got to shout out to John. John been leaving a lot of comments on the show. He say cheaper seats, even for major events, can sometimes be found starting from around $200 or even less. Though these won't be floor seats. He's definitely
That's still
right
a lot of
that.
money, though. It's still a lot of money for spending. My first show I ever went to. Now this is how old I am, I guess. Was in the New Haven Coliseum in Connecticut. For good seats, they were $10. All right, really good seats. Mm-hmm. So this is back in the mid 1980s. So,
and I also want to say too that I think it depends on the city you go to. Because I remember
that's definitely a factor. Yeah, that's definitely a factor as well. Because they also have to the price of the building takes part as well. How much are they getting the building for? You know, because WWE's got to pay for the building, so they got to figure out what's the overhead to try to raise that to make their profit. They're going to have some sort of percentage. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. There's also there's a lot that goes into. Obviously the pricing of it, but TKO wants to raise the prices for it to be more like a professional fight atmosphere, like it was for boxing, like it is for MMA, stuff like that.
Definitely. Yeah. So one last question for Rick. So where do you see the Pro Wrestling Wire going in the next year or two?
Hopefully we'll be able to, get up there as far as like one of the most recognizable sites, I guess. But right now I'm just having fun, and I just want to keep doing it. That's it. Just keep having fun, pushing it along, and just writing about what I want to write about. Something that I love very much, that I've been a fan of for over 40 years in professional wrestling.
That's what's up. So Courtney, I got one last question for you. And I know the last time you were on, we talked a lot about women's wrestling. So do you feel women's wrestling is continuing to get the spotlight it deserves, or has it plateaued a bit?
Oh, well, with AJ's return, it elevated. But if you look at the storylines themselves, they've kind of plateaued. Because like on SmackDown, it's only Tiffany Stratton, Nia Jax, and Jade Cargill fighting.
Yeah.
And then you have Michin facing anybody that has the United States champion. Like there's no creativity.
Right. Yeah.
Lyra and Becky fought for how long? Just because they're both Irish. Like there was no creativity there.
Yeah, and then you got to can't forget about the story that they putting together with Asuka and Io Sky.
Somebody's got to help Io, or not Io, Kyrie. That poor girl is going through it every week.
Hey, I like at the end when she tried to talk to Io or whatever, and then all you hear is Asuka in the background like Kyrie. You know what I'm saying? It's just it's funny, like. But I'm glad to see the Kabuki Warriors back. I know they've been going through a lot of injuries and stuff like that. So I definitely see Asuka Io Sky storyline that's definitely coming. And do you think that this brewing storyline should be something that should be held for like a major major PLE, something like Survivor Series or World Rumble?
If done right, yeah.
That's what's up.
Because they're both very, very talented and they can pull it off. You just have to give them the right story. And it has to be something deeper than, hey, we're friends. Well, we're not friends anymore. Like, you have to do more.
Yeah. I will say one bright spot in women's wrestling, and it's not in WWE, it's actually in AEW. Excuse me. Athena has had the Ring of Honor women's title for like over 1,000 days now.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say, she's been killing it, and I don't think she's been getting a lot of the recognition that she deserves over in AEW. I think they need to put her on TV more, and let her. I think she had a match recently for the women's championship over in AEW, but
they just had a ring. Didn't they just have a Ring of Honor pay-per-view just a month or so ago? Maybe.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're gonna talk about some of the three topics that we got. I think this one got a lot of people feeling some type of way. WrestleMania is going to be in Saudi Arabia in 2027. I'm gonna start with you, Rick. Rick, what are your thoughts on them going to Saudi in 2027?
Me, I'm not making that big a deal out of it. A lot of people are going to make a big deal about it. Professional wrestling is about making money, about how much money you can make, stuff like that. And of course, they're going into a crazy land where possibly, a lot of people probably shouldn't go or probably, don't want to go. But, they made a deal and they're making a lot of freaking money doing it. So more power to them from being able to make that kind of money. The building, I guess it's a worldwide business, professional wrestling in the WWE. They've been places, a lot of different places, and they're going places that they're, that a lot of people would never want them to go, and it's not like I'm the biggest fan of stuff like that. So like those politics and stuff like that, but it is, like I said, it's all about making money. A lot of people are going to be out here crying, whining. It's a controversial topic. They're not going there. A lot of these people are saying, "Oh, I'm never going to watch WWE again." That's a lie. You're going to be watching WrestleMania, Saudi Arabia. You're going to be the first one there within your TV and your boxer shorts and your popcorn. So, like, it's just a lot of these people are just kind of, it's just, they want something to cry about. That's what social media is about. They're going to go over there. They're going to put it on a gigantic show. It's going to be spectacular. Quality of wrestling wise might not be the greatest, but it's going to be, a gigantic spectacle. And it is what it is, man. It's like, they're going to be doing a lot of stuff that us as human beings are not necessarily going to be like. They brought back Brock Lesnar, you know what I mean? After being involved in the case. And I was always a huge Brock fan. I don't agree with what he does, but that happens a lot. He's also a character on my television. I'm going to sit there and watch that.
Definitely.
So,
what's your thoughts, Courtney?
Well, I think it's interesting that Rick's first comment was talking about how much money they're making after we just discussed how much they're charging for tickets. Like, you're making how much money and you still have to charge that much for tickets.
It's the greedy American,
Yeah.
Yeah. So is Green Shirt Guy going to be there? That's my other question.
Absolutely.
Right. I would only the thing. I'm not really upset about it. I think just with the controversy behind Saudi Arabia and just WWE wanting to work with a country that's controversial. The only thing that I would say about it is if WWE was going to do a WrestleMania outside of the US, then I think the UK should have got the first WrestleMania outside of the US. they've been working with they've been going to the UK for as long as I can remember.
Right.
And I think I think that they should have got first dibs on it first. But like you said, money talks.
Yeah, they probably made them an offer that they couldn't refuse as part, and they have some outlandish deal with them already. So, and God knows there could be something else that's in the work, in that contract that's not so friendly as well. So, I mean, as long as everybody's safe when they go there and they're able to return home, that's what matters.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Courtney,
As a fan, though, I'm just kind of concerned about what's going to happen. Because,
Yeah.
like, the best part about watching WrestleMania is, you're going to see celebrities pop up. You're gonna see like all these cool things. Wrestlers have musicians play them to the ring. I don't know how much of that element we're going to get
yeah.
Do they
with that.
allow do they allow rock music? It's I don't know what all I know that there was like band lists for certain kinds of music and stuff like that, and
Oh,
women are
wow.
not allowed to wear certain kind of outfits, so it's like there's a lot that's probably going to probably go back to being somewhat kind of basic based on a lot of what Courtney just said.
Yeah, and this is WrestleMania. Like, that's not the time to
Yeah,
go big. That
yeah,
that's what I'm concerned about.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's the biggest event of the year that everybody looks forward to. So
I definitely agree, and I think we all will agree. WrestleMania is kind of up there with the Super Bowl. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? As far as like the popularity, the money that it brings in, and stuff like that. Yeah, and you making a good point because I'm thinking about that. Like, there's not going to be no Snoop Dogg. There's not going to be no Jelly Roll. Probably there's probably not going to be no Post Malone. So yeah, it's like that celebrity element that you see a lot at WrestleMania is not going to be there unless they use a lot of actors from Saudi Arabia. But even then, it's still going to just kind of be like, as an American fan, you're going to be like, okay, who is this?
yeah. I do that
Yeah.
anyways because I have no idea who half these actors and musicians are anyways. But unless you're like Living Color or whoever, like what is it, Joan Jett played one year. But like a lot of these newer, I had no idea who Jelly Roll was when he first came in, so I had to look. I had to look up who he was. So
Yeah, definitely.
It's sad though, because that's what WrestleMania was to
yeah,
bridge the gap between wrestling and pop culture, and now you're cutting that off at the knees.
yes, yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with you. Yeah,
So it's probably if WrestleMania is a success in 2027, could you see them doing more WrestleManias in Saudi Arabia, or do you think this would be it?
I think it's possible. I think that they're going to go other places. You know, um, after that, but it'll probably it will. I don't think it'll be like them doing like a double shot like 2 years in a row or something like that. But I think where we really need one is the UK, like y'all said. I'd love to see something in Japan. You know what I mean? Because that's been like pro
Yeah.
wrestling has been part of the culture there. It's like a very big part of the culture. It's treated like a national sport, covered in the newspapers, stuff like that. So it'd be like really interesting to see something there.
And real quick before we go to the next topic, another country that I would like to see WrestleMania is Paris, France. I would love to see them get a WrestleMania. What they have been able to do with Clash in Paris and then Backlash last year, just their crowd is crazy. And I think if they had a WrestleMania there, I think it would be like one of the best of all time. And I think the crowd by itself would make it one of the best.
Oh yeah.
So let's talk about another thing that happened. And this was a surprise, I think, to me. This caught everybody off guard. Andrade was released from WWE. I think it was Saturday. A lot of reports are coming out that he had a wellness violation, and there were talks that they wanted him to go and do certain things, and he didn't want to do it. So WWE pulled the plug on him. I'm gonna start with you, Courtney. What are your thoughts on the release, and what did you think about just his overall run when he came back?
It was disappointing. He's very, very talented. Like, he was so good in NXT, but they've never known what to do with him on the main roster. Like, I'm a huge Batman fan. So when he came out with like the black mask, like that was the coolest thing. It was like I got that reference. I was like, that's so cool. But they never did anything with him on the main roster.
I agree. I definitely agree. And do you think that they, and I was just thinking about this, like, do you think that they should have put him and Zelina Vega back together?
Yeah, they were really good.
Yeah. And I think that she could have kind of been like the speaker for him a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Not saying that Andrade can't speak for itself, but they had a real good dynamic and a real good chemistry.
Yeah.
And it's like you said, his run was disappointing. It seemed like that he was gonna be put in the United States title picture, and he was for a minute, sort of, kind of, but then he kept losing and stuff like that. Right. And then he got dropped down to the tag team with Ray Phoenix. He got a match at what was that, SummerSlam? Yeah, SummerSlam in the ladder match. So, I mean, it's still unfortunate, you know. We don't know what really happened. We just know by what we read. But
right.
You know, I hope that wherever he goes, that he gets the run that he wants. What's your thoughts, Rick?
You know, his return run to the E was kind of disappointing in a way. It didn't seem like they were really focused on, I don't know. It's like when it didn't seem like they really cared. It didn't seem like he really cared much either. Which is a shame because he's like a very like talented guy. It's like, you remember when he came back during the Rumble, it just seemed like it was very anticlimactic. In my opinion, actually the whole Rumble was, but you know, I was anticipating his return, and it was just like, geez, like there was like no pop for him whatsoever, it seemed. And it's just week after week, it just seemed kind of mediocre. You feel kind of bad for him, but I think he's going to do well because he's one of those guys that is just that good that he'll be hired by anybody, whether he does a tour of Japan, goes to TNA, or probably AEW if they offer him enough money.
Mm-hmm.
Which is crazy because WWE has that new deal with AAA. So you would think he would be like a good person to bridge that, you know?
Right. Yeah.
And
yeah. They just purchased it, right? Over the summer or something like that. And it's like they've been running kind of like, oh, you can definitely tell the difference between what AAA was before and what AAA is now under the WWE banner. It's definitely very WWE'd, I guess you can say, by the appearance and how the shows are run. But it's like definitely. I mean, I used to watch a lot of AAA back in the earlier 2000s and stuff like that. But it's like you said, he would probably, if they sent him down there, maybe as, you know, go get yourself together, we'll let you work there or whatever. It'd probably be sure, you know, it'd be fire, dude. It'd be awesome to see him down there. But I think he's one of those guys that he can get hired by anybody, though, honestly.
Oh yeah, definitely. Now I did read something that that they had wanted him to go to AAA and he didn't want to go down there. So I don't know. I think from what it sounds like, he probably just didn't want to be in WWE no more. And then another thing,
he's probably unhappy with his career choice that he made going back there.
Yeah. And then you got to think about too, he's on SmackDown with his ex-wife Charlotte Flair. So ain't no telling what type of dynamic is going on behind the scenes in the locker room too. So that possibly could have did whatever led to him getting fired. So real quick, just to throw a promotion out there, where do you think he's going to end up next? I'll start with you, Courtney.
I kind of like the new Japan idea, like going to Japan.
Yeah, I mean, he's worked there before and he did really well there during like his tours there.
Okay, that's what's up.
Yeah.
So, what do you think, Rick?
Like I said, I'd like to see him go back to Japan and do something in Japan, but I wouldn't be surprised if he popped back up in AEW. But you know, maybe TNA. TNA kind of needs something right now. It's like they're doing pretty good. Maybe they can throw a few extra bucks his way because they don't. Those guys that own that company, Anthem, don't like to spend a lot of money on certain people. But maybe they can bring him in there. I think it would be a very positive addition to their roster.
Yeah. And just to throw this out there, I wish TNA would have signed Karrion Kross. I think he would have been a big signing for them as well.
But that's where I first saw him, and I really was really impressed by him. And him leaving WWE, getting them releasing him, whatever happened, it's like I think it's a big mistake on WWE's part because if they could push that guy to the moon, he could have been the guy in WWE. Personally, I've been saying that for years, honestly, about him.
Yeah.
So, not to name drop, but my friend is actually Karrion Kross and Scarlett's lawyer.
Oh.
And
wow.
She got a. Anyway, they became really good friends because he's a really big wrestling fan, and they told him a bunch of stuff that he shouldn't know, and everything got derailed with their group taking on the White Six, because that's why they brought them back, was to build this faction feud. So they were saying they had all of these pages and pages of ideas, they had months and months of storylines already written, because that's what Karrion and Scarlett do, and they got the green light and then shenanigans happened.
Mm-hmm.
So it's so sad of what could have been.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And that would have been a real good storyline right there. You would have Uncle Howdy and Karrion Kross. You have Joe Gacy and Dexter Lumis against AOP.
Mm-hmm. That's what they were building to. And that's why it was so interesting to see everybody that has ever gotten into any type of altercation with Karrion has gone heel. And you go back and you watch them, he does their hair. He does his hair the same way the guy that they're talking to does. So Sammy has that half ponytail man bun thing.
Yeah.
Karrion would have that.
Yeah.
But he's the reason why the New Day turned. All of that.
Yeah, because he was putting stuff in their ear or whatever.
Yeah.
And then it was just they just did this whole turn. And I don't even want to talk about the New Day heel turn. It's just man, that and I like the New Day, but that heel turn it's just been it's been trash.
I don't know, dude. Those guys, I think that they've been together too long. It's kind of one of those things. It's hard to imagine. I'm still watching these guys for 10 years or whatever, 10 years or more.
Yeah,
it's just sometimes you got to move on from the gimmick.
You know what? I agree, especially now with what they're doing to him. It's just it might be that time, because it's Xavier Woods never really got the solo run that he deserved when he was with the New Day. He won the King of the Ring, and then a couple of maybe a week or a couple of days after the King of the Ring, he got stumped by the Bloodline, and they stumped his crown. So that just bury him right there. Any thoughts of him being the king is just kind of just you really the king of the ring. You just got your crown smashed up. But and then he hasn't had a solo title. So it's just I would have definitely loved to see, and would still love to see, Xavier Woods get a solo push. And Kofi Kingston, after the way he lost the title to Brock in less than 10 seconds, he definitely is somebody that I would like to see, not necessarily as champion again, because I think that shit might have sailed, but just in the picture where it's hey, I want to fight you for the title, instead of just you know, coming out with all these silly outfits, and my man, he need to cut his mustache too. Like you don't cut your mustache when you get a certain age, man. So we're gonna go talk about the last topic, and that is WrestlePalooza, the PLE that is this Saturday. A lot of controversy with that. First, all the WWE's PLEs are now going to ESPN on the new ESPN app. Hopefully, a lot of you all got Hulu or the Disney bundle or whatever. You'll get the ESPN app for free. It's just a lot of controversies. People got to pay more money, and they also created this pay-per-view because AEW has a pay-per-view this weekend also. So they wanted to go up against that. But I think the matches are going to be interesting, pretty good. So, Courtney, what's your thoughts on WrestlePalooza? What match are you looking forward to seeing? And before you answer that, just what are your thoughts about WWE moving their PLEs to ESPN?
It's ridiculous. That's like yet another streaming service. Like, I was already annoyed having to get Netflix to watch Raw, and now you have to get that. Like, it's too much.
Yeah. Somebody did on social media that to get all of the apps, was it Netflix, ESPN, Peacock, and then you got, even if you add HBO Max to get AEW and they pay-per-views, you paying almost, what was it, $1,000 a year for a year or something like that. It's a lot of money that you paying a year for all those apps.
You're paying more. Like, the whole point of streaming was to cut down the cost with the cost because of cable, right? The cable was like so expensive. But it's like, you get all these apps, you're paying the internet. So cable companies raise their prices on the internet, right? And then so nobody uses their phone anymore. But so it's like basically all these companies are, and so then it's like all the addition of apps, the movie apps. You want to get wrestling, there's probably what, 12? Nah, there's probably got 20, 30 wrestling streaming apps. You end up paying more for streaming than you were for cable. Going through all that crap. Like, seriously, it's just ridiculous. Now, I actually kind of dwindled down and really, like, I don't know, like, there's no point in me to keep Peacock anymore because I don't watch anything on there. I mean, I got it free from my cable system for a good couple years because of when they launched it and WWE went over there. So, but there's like, what else is there? Like, seriously, it's like, and then WWE taking all their archival footage off of Peacock. So, which is another thing that's gonna, like, all the old footage is gonna end up on YouTube. They're gonna start YouTube pages for each and every company that they bought the libraries out of.
Yeah, because they already done. They've done it with WCW, and I love the WCW YouTube.
Me too. Yeah,
I love it. And did they do ECW yet? If they
didn't. Note that, but they also own like a shit ton of. Sorry, pardon my mouth, but they own like the entire AWA video library as well. And honestly, it's like they barely put any old AWA footage up on their streaming network. Smoky Mountain Wrestling, they own that. Barely anything up there. They owned World Class, but all that footage, and they put actually a significant amount up there, but there was still a lot missing that they own. So, hopefully they'll take care of that stuff, make it right with those groups. Who's going to keep that stuff alive, that history alive, if WWE that owns that footage is not letting it out there? Put it up on YouTube. Instead, we'll have to find crappy copies that some fan ripped from the 10th generation VHS. So.
Right.
Sorry, I went off on a tangent and started.
Oh, it's good. Go ahead.
That's what my ex did. He had the entire run of the original ECW on a zip drive. But, like, what was wrong with the WWE network?
Man,
it worked perfectly.
Everything for $10, and they didn't mess with none of the matches. Like, because I heard once they moved to Peacock, they edited certain stuff that was in matches and stuff like that. WWE Network had everything. Only thing
Yep.
that they changed up was some of the wrestlers' theme songs, like Diamond Dallas Page. He had the Self High Five song. They changed that up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they may have did a few other wrestlers, but you had everything for $10, man. And it's
And I
like,
think it was like they were not getting enough subscribers that to warrant paying, everything that they had on those servers and stuff like that. So they only had, I think, at one point like over 1 million subscribers, something like that. It wasn't like, it wasn't enough to keep. I mean, to keep it running, I guess. I mean, which I don't know. That could be all, like we said, going back to the whole corporate greed thing of WWE and stuff. So that could, like, to me, how much does it take to keep all this stuff on a hard drive and people just put it on demand to play it whenever the hell they want?
Yeah, like they already own the footage. Like they
Yes.
already paid for that.
Yeah. And the other thing was the original WWE Network was better than, if you remember, they ended up changing it before they went to Pico. They ended up changing the whole layout and everything, and then it's like it was harder to search for things. Harder. It was all focused on like whoever, like the modern roster. A lot of it, even though everything was still up there, but it's like the whole layout was different when they did this whole upgrade. And I think it was like 2 years later. That's when they ended up going to Peacock or something like that.
Yeah. So, Courtney, go ahead and finish. What's your thoughts on the PLE, and what match are you looking forward to see?
Well, the mixed tag match with AJ and CM Punk, and Becky and Seth. I'm really excited to see that. I think Cena and Lesnar is going to be pretty decent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think if I am correct, I heard that that's going to be the main event of the PLE also. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say it probably will be, given all their history and the name value, and
Yeah. What's your thoughts, Rick, on the PLE? And I know you had said that you were going to look at the card. What match?
I have it. Honestly, it's Cena and Lesnar is probably the one that I'm looking forward to the most. Honestly, because I didn't like Cena until he wasn't on TV every week. You know what I mean? When they were shoving them down your throats every night, and it was like one of those things. Like, God, I'm so tired of this. But Super Cena, I guess you would consider it, because he was just like not being defeated. But it was when he was getting older, I started to appreciate him more when he wasn't on TV as much, and and so it's like I've gotten this kind of love for him in a weird way now that. But him against Brock, I've always been a huge Brock fan. I've always because he's like a legit badass, a legit wrestler. And I think that this really, now this isn't Cena's final match, right?
No.
It's like at the end in December, right? Or they're setting up for that. So I think that literally this is going to be one of his last matches. Like that, this is going to be like a surefire banger. Like it's just they're gonna go out there and put their all into this matchup, and that's the one match that I'm looking forward to the most. And Punk and AJ against Seth and Becky. The other, the rest of the show, I'm just like, I like Drew McIntyre, and Cody's okay too. That's probably going to be a pretty decent match too. Probably, I'm kind of not giving that one enough credit, but I think that'll end up being a pretty good match as well.
That's what's up. I think it's 3 of them that I'm kind of looking forward to. Well, actually, maybe like 4. Brock and Cena. Anytime those two get together and get in the ring, like you said, it's going to be some type of banger.
Yeah.
Of course, the mixed tag match, Punk and AJ Lee versus Seth and Becky. I think that it's going to be a good one. It's going to be interesting to see who wins. I've been kind of going back and forth, but I think that hopefully that this leads to a one-on-one match between AJ and Becky for the women's IC title. I hope that we see that.
I think that's definitely going to happen. I don't think this is just going to be like a one-off. Maybe it might be a short run, but I think that it's not necessarily going to be a one-off.
Yeah.
Well, if they're doing that, then Becky and Seth have to win.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. The other matches I'm looking forward to, I'm looking forward to seeing the Usos reunite to go up against the Bronze. Um, Jay Uso been kind of acting a little heelish the last couple of weeks. Kind of on the slide. Talking to Roman, getting advice from Roman. Jimmy kind of telling him, chill out. You're not the tribal chief. Stop, bossing me around and stuff. I think anytime them guys get together, and I've been trying my best to like not agree with people, but I think I agree that they are better as a tag team than they are solo. What do y'all think about that?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess so. I guess so. Um, Sorry, it's like when they came in. I mean, yeah, they've become superstars. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
They're able.
yeah,
Those guys are able to sell T-shirts. We'll just put it that way. I'm not the biggest fan of those guys. I kind of liked them a little bit when they were just kind of young and coming up, but now it's like the whole everything is. It's they're both kind of goofy in a way. In as far as their gimmicks are, you know what I mean? Like everything is like Jay's got like a 20-minute intro, walking through the crowd and
yeah,
yeeting like for 20 minutes. And it's just, it kind of like, but I like Bronson and I like Braun a lot. I really
yeah.
like Braun a lot. I think that there's really something there with him. And I think they're really kind of like priming him up at some point for future greatness. I think this is going to be a really good match, to be honest with you. I really do. Like, I think that there's a lot of potential here.
I definitely agree. And the last match, I don't think a lot of people are really talking about this. Stephanie Vaquer versus Io Sky. I think that that's going to be possibly one of the top matches on the card. Um, I hope Stephanie Vaquer wins this match just on the strength of, unfortunately, Naomi had to drop the title because, she's pregnant. But I think this is the time for WWE to put the title on somebody, on a new face.
Yeah.
And I think Stephanie is the perfect person. I wish somehow, some way, Roxanne Perez was in this match, or they put her in here, because I think that she needs to be the women's world champion also. And I think that her being the champion will be perfect when Liv eventually comes back and get that whole story going on between them. But yeah, I think this match is going to be a good one. I think if they want to really do things right, put the belt on Stephanie, let Io have her battle with Asuka, possibly Kairi Sane, because I think Kairi Sane is going to turn too. And yeah, just I think they're going to have a real good match Saturday. And Stephanie Vaquer, I definitely think that the company got big things planned for her.
Yeah.
If they do Asuka and Io, they're probably gonna have Kyrie be the special guest referee, just glitching out the whole time.
Right.
Poor girl.
Right, definitely. So, guys, I want to thank you all for coming on. Definitely enjoyed having a conversation about wrestling. Courtney, you've been on the show. This is your second time. Appreciate you coming back on. Real quick before we get out of here, you got any last words, last thoughts about wrestling, and where can the people find you?
Well, they can find me on the Wrestling Wire and the Valley Wrestling Federation, West Virginia Wrestling Federation page.
Sweet. Any social media pages you want to push?
Just the WVWF page, because I'll let Rick plug it. And the Ultimate Wrestling Fan Club page on Facebook.
Sweet. Rick, thank you for coming on. This is your first time on the show. Had a good conversation talking to you about wrestling. Any last words, any last thoughts, and where can the people find you?
Well, thank you very much for having me. First off, it's always great. I love talking about professional wrestling with everybody. And thank you, Courtney. It's the first time we've actually done a podcast together. We've talked about it for months, so now we actually have to get it into gear even more now. So you can find me, of course, on the Pro Wrestling Wire. I try to post daily, which is not always the case, but there's contact and social information there. You can go to our YouTube page. Well, it's my YouTube page, but under my name, Rick Del Santo. But you can find podcasts there, matches that I film and commentate with for some of the indies that I film and record with. And you can hit me up on Facebook, Instagram. I really use Instagram the most. I really use Facebook. There's too much politics and negativity on there, but I will use that messenger though for sure.
Definitely. And before I let the people know where they can find me, and I meant to mention this when we were talking about WrestlePalooza. This Saturday and this Sunday, I will be doing a preview prediction show for Saturday, and on Sunday we're gonna do a review of WrestlePalooza. It's gonna be me, WSN's own Professor Bear, and Sant from the Sample Chance podcast. We are gonna talk WrestlePalooza, make our predictions, break down the matches, and then we're gonna come back the next day and we're gonna talk about the matches and talk about what matches that we predicted right and ones that we got wrong. So
you should keep score. That's what my friends and I do.
Say that again.
You should keep score.
Yeah.
And see. That's what my friends and I do, and it's fun.
Yeah, definitely. I think the last time we did that, we did a watch along for Clash in Paris. I think I may have only got like two matches right, and I think my guest got like 3 or 4. So yeah, I definitely keeping scores is fun.
It's fun.
And of course, as always, you can catch Wrestling from the 313 on Facebook. You can catch me on X/Twitter. I don't really be on there a lot, but if you see Wrestling from the 313, give us a follow. Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. We're still on the road to 7,000 subscribers. We're at 6,600 right now.
Whoa.
And yeah.
That's awesome, dude.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And and just wherever you see Wrestling from the 313 on social media, just give us a follow, give me a like, comment on the videos, all that good stuff. Go to wrestlingfromthe313.shop, get you a t-shirt, a hoodie, Scully. We got stuff for men, women, and kids. We got the support women's wrestling t-shirts and support independent wrestling shirts as well.
Is there coffee mugs?
We got coffee mugs too.
I'm a coffee mug fiend. I have to have a coffee mug from everything I do. So,
I will send you the link to the website.
Please, I'll buy it tonight, please do. So.
I appreciate it. So once again, for my guests representing the Pro Wrestling Wire website, Courtney, Rick Del Santo, thank you guys once again. I'm your boy Mike D, host of Wrestling from the 313. I'll see you next Tuesday, but before next Tuesday, I'll see you Saturday and Sunday talking about WrestlePalooza. We out of here. Peace.